Your purpose is bigger than you. It's bigger than the biggest obstacle you'll face along the way. And as a matter of fact, let your obstacles encourage you to keep going.
It's time to exhale and be motivated. Annie's Blue Couch. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. To all of you, Annie's crew, welcome back to the Annie's Blue Couch. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today. Before we get into today's conversation, I want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and as always, remember to share this video with at least 2 of your friends. I have to say that I truly appreciate all of you who've been supporting Annie's Blue Couch and sharing my videos. Thank you so much. Now, for today's conversation, I want to open up a little about how I'm feeling, and I hope it encourages you. At any point that you have a question or want to add to what I'm saying, feel free to comment down below. I've been extremely overwhelmed by everything going on in the media. My family and I have had conversations about it all, some of which I've shared right here on Annie's Blue Couch, and many off camera as well. Coronavirus and racism are destroying lives. These 2 main issues have literally taken over my brain. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's just my honest truth. One, we had no choice in. One, arguably, is a choice. Needless to say, I feel bombarded with both. And I have to fight the urge to live in fear of the outdoors as a response to one. Do I hang out with my friends? Do I allow my kids to go to parties? Do I let people come over? It's just a lot. Do you feel that way? And then there's fighting the urge to live in anger and hatred as a response to the other. Every single time another video comes across my timeline about another senseless murder and people choosing to live in ignorance, I either want to scream or my eyes just start watering up and I want to cry. So I've decided the only way to calm down, so to speak, is to hit the pause button. Pause on consumption of everything being shoved in my face and take some time to remind myself that I'm a vessel of purpose with a mission. My mission is to encourage and empower people, young and old, Black, white, or other, educated and uneducated, employed and unemployed, to appreciate the gift of life. Coronavirus has reminded me that literally tomorrow is promised to no one. We have to live on purpose. And the persistent narrative in the media that the entire American ideology intentionally restricts people who share my skin color from being their best has reminded me that some of us have to work harder than others. And fair or not, it is what it is. Yes, we need equality. Yes, we need to speak up. Yes, we need to continue to march, peacefully protest, and challenge documents, laws, and perspectives that are intentionally in place to suppress and restrict access to some while freely giving it to others. But guess what? I want to echo Maya Angelou and say, still I rise. Annie's crew, I want to encourage you to rise above this narrative that somehow you're more or less valuable than someone else because of anything. Rise above anger and frustration. Rise above the defeated mindset. Listen, I know it's way easier said than done, and certain challenges take a whole lot of work to overcome. I can list all the setbacks and obstacles that I've had to overcome, from not having my father in my life, to dropping out of high school, to having my first child being super young in the church and not married, dealing with depression, getting married, going through a divorce, and dealing with loneliness. And the list goes on and on. And in hearing that list, some of you may say, those aren't obstacles, or get over it, or whatever, because the truth is, the same hand, or an arguably worse hand, can be dealt to someone else, and the outcome be a world of a difference between my life and theirs. Why? Because of choice. There are some things we have no control over, but we do have control over our responses. Even when it feels like the process of life is like swimming against the current, or climbing up a mountain that you are constantly facing boulder-sized situations coming down on you as you climb. There is a choice to make. Give up and die, or push and succeed against all odds. Success is not achieved by not having challenges. Success is not lost because you slip or fall along the way. Every time you choose to keep going, you are increasing your chances to win. And this is not one of those races where there's only 3 places on the podium. You are not racing against me. You are not racing against a family member, an associate at work, or anyone for that matter. You are racing to win against self-defeat. No matter how true the facts presented to you are about your circumstances or your environment or your family situation, I assure you, you have the ability to rise. It may not be easy. You may even see a neighbor seemingly just handed the same things you are working tirelessly for. But as long as you keep your focus on that neighbor or the inequalities of your circumstances, you will lose sight of your goal and your purpose. I'm encouraging you to not allow yourself to accept a bad hand as an excuse to not succeed. And understand that I'm not diminishing the truth of unfairness or excusing destructive and even abusive behavior from those who would attempt to block you or intimidate you along the way. I'm simply saying your purpose is too important for you to allow anything to stop you. There are certain statements that I want us to never say. The first is, I can't. You absolutely can, and you will, as long as you keep going despite the challenges. The second is, it's too hard. It may in fact be hard, but the two, that little word too, indicates an internal resolve that it's somehow impossible. And as for Annie's crew, we are not about to allow ourselves to engage in language that perpetuates a defeated mindset. I'm sure there's others you're thinking of now. I want us all to help each other. Share some of those statements we shouldn't say in the comment section down below. The third and final statement that we just cannot say, and I really think it's the worst of all, it's I quit. There's too much at stake to quit. The people you are called to impact are depending on you to keep going. They may not know who you are now, but when they finally meet you or read your book or benefit from the blessing of your purpose in whatever way they do, they will be forever grateful that you didn't say, I can't, it's too hard, or I quit. Let me just add this plug right here. The people depending on you may be right in your own home. We sometimes minimize the impact we have on those closest to us and think that if our purpose is invisible or recognized on a global level, that it's just not as important a purpose. But let me tell you, whether you're on this earth to speak to nations, or you're on this earth to speak into the next generation, who will in turn speak to nations, you are valuable and necessary. Your purpose is bigger than you. It's bigger than the biggest obstacle you'll face along the way. And as a matter of fact, let your obstacles encourage you to keep going. The bigger the obstacle, the harder the challenge, the more painful the process, know that the other side will prove that it was worth it. In my next video, I'm going to go into detail on what purpose is and how critical it is that you keep it at the forefront of your mind. I'm telling you, a lot is riding on your choice to persevere. I'm taking a moment to pause. The ultimate goal is to rise. But before I rise, I'm choosing to pause. I'm reevaluating some of my choices and deciding to not allow anything to get in the way of me becoming my best self. I encourage you, join me in pausing if you too have been overwhelmed by it all. Let's pause. Pause to regain footing on your purpose. And then let's get to work on living a purpose-driven, intentional life. Until next time, remember that you are beautiful. You are special. Your smile is amazing. And don't let anyone or anything ever make you feel less than who and what God has designed you to be. Annie's crew, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Bye for now.
Annie's Blue Couch.